We wanted something where we can take anywhere, that we don't need to be in an RV spot necessarily. We don't need hookups or anything like that. This one was more versatile for us.
What we love about this trailer is its ability to fold down to a low profile that helps us in terms of mobility, mileage.
We just wanted something that's comfortable to sleep in, but then also it's going to force us to go outside.
This is our 2019 Aliner Classic. This is the belt line of this trailer, so it folds down to roughly about this area. It's also hard-sided, which is good for cold winter camping. We love to enjoy camping on the shoulder seasons and even during the winter. The other benefit of the installation of this is in bear country, it's helpful as well to have the hard-sided. This particular trailer is also outfitted with the dormers. As you can see, there's a hard-sided dormer, both front and rear. This gives a little more extra headroom inside the trailer that we'll show here in a little bit.
And we didn't want a huge trailer. Before this one, we did rent a couple bigger kind of RVs or mid-sized ones and just to kind of test them out. And we found that we just kind of were sitting inside of them a lot. So we wanted something where we can take anywhere, that we don't need to be in an RV spot necessarily. We don't need hookups or anything like that. This one was more versatile for us. With this size, everything though is outside. The cooking's outside, except our toilet, which we'll get into later too. But because of it, a lot of our storage, everything is on the outside of the trailer as well. So besides like clothes we put inside and things like that. So, but I'll let you talk about the back.
The typical Aliner trailer does come out with full-size spare tire, which is good. However, we did make a couple modifications. To Nicole's point, we like to bring our gear outside, so we do have an easy up here for ever it rains. One thing to keep in mind if you ever get an Aliner trailer, canopies on the trailers are difficult because the way it opens and closes. We also added a basket for firewood and as well a hitch receiver for bikes. One thing we love in our family is biking, so this allowed us to add our kids' bikes out here in the back, and our bikes are on the front, which we'll get to in a little minute. Other thing that's important to note or worth noting is the trasheroo. What's nice about this is that since there is no grade tank on an Aliner trailer, something worth noting, people either use buckets. We do hold our container in here while transporting. But what's nice is that when we take this out, then this is now our garbage.
Yeah, so we try and maximize all our space and use every little nook and cranny as a purposeful area for all our items that we have.
Yep,
so
absolutely.
We have a fresh water connection over here. The electricity hookup, which we don't always use, but if it is at a campground that offers it, it is there. But
actually, let me add to this. If it has a hookup, we generally don't want to be there. Our goal is to any place that you pitch a tent is where we want to be. Yes, this is where you do hook it up or charge your batteries. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, and to say we have used it. We, during the pandemic, we were in Anza Borrego Desert just to get out, and it happened to be, 120 degree weather that weekend, but we're like, we're going to go anyway. So this AC was pumping the whole time, okay? But ideally, we like to be out and about, biking, hiking, swimming, canoeing, kayaking. We do all the things with the kids and friends and family, so.
Yeah. This is the drain outlet for the gray water. So basically, it's just for our sink inside. So brushing your teeth, washing your hands. That's what I was mentioning earlier. We keep a small tank inside the trasheroo on the rear tire carrier. Fridge vents over here. Utility shower.
And that's, after just a couple of days, we're pretty scrubby. And so we're like, okay, we just need one shower. But we used to do more showers, but we kind of decided as a family, it's easier if we just use those giant wet wipe, kind of the shower wipes. But this is like once in a while, you just need a nice hot shower and it's available.
Yep. Something to note here real quick. So the trailer does come stock with a solar hookup. What you notice here is that we did add a secondary one. So this is a modification. So this is the factory one to our battery. This is actually, we have a small solar generator inside. So for the charging our solar generator or power station, it's locked inside the trailer for theft. So that's the beauty of this. Your generator, it's not only protected from that, protected from the elements as well. So for theft and elements, this is a nice solution. It does require you drilling into here, so you got to have some level of comfort or have someone else do that for you. But these are all stock things that you can get off Amazon. Really easy to do in the end.
So these are our bikes, Walter's bike and mine. The kids were in the back. So if you see us down the highway, our trailer's folded up. These bikes are just flying. But this is great. It's really easy to mount up and down. I mean, we use them on our cars, but now we have them on the trailer. But like I said, we like to mountain bike, so we always bring our bikes everywhere we go.
We do have the standard 2 propane tanks in here. This is an aftermarket battery box tray. And part of the reason too, again, as we mentioned earlier about theft, lithium batteries aren't cheap. We do have a 100 amp hour Battleborn battery in here, as well as we do have a heating element in there because we do like to camp in the middle of winter as well. So lithium has a hard time accepting charge at very cold temperatures. So when we are charging this in solar, it does have a battery blanket as well in here. A couple other things worth noting on this, we do have some water tanks. This is military scepter tanks that we like to use for water. This is food grade plastics on here. These were mounted. This is great for us when we're off the grid. This is also a water port which we use that you pressurize. You add water, you pressurize it. You can use this to wash off your kayak, your paddleboard, whatever needs you may have, your feet. Sometimes it's more convenient than setting up the exterior shower. And this is portable and removable as well.
And I'm noticing you have a lot of locks. You've secured this stuff pretty well.
We do our best. We have locks on just about everything. When we are dry camping or out in the middle of nowhere and we're off on a bike ride for a couple hours, we like to secure our stuff. It just, we do our best. So you'll notice locks on the water tanks on our water port. There's even a lock on our propane tanks as well, including our batteries. So we do what we can. Not factory, but we did extend the tongue of the trailer. The factory tongue on an A-liner would end roughly about this area. What we did is extend that out. This is a popular modification for those who off-road or on off-road trailers. It gives a little more articulation of your trailer in tight areas, prevent jackknifing. Particularly, we hang a lot of gear off the side of our trailer, as you've noticed. That also helps us, gives a little more buffer clearance on that front. We've also tried to make it modular where it could be flipped for varying heights of the tow vehicle as well. This in particular is actually just something to store a bike. This is another bike rack. So what we like on this is that we'll go and we'll hook this up to our vehicle, load our bikes up, and we may need to drive like a mile or two or a couple of miles to get to the trailhead. Ideally, we love to camp near trailhead, but sometimes it's not always possible, and the best trails are, have to drive a little bit. This gives us that ability to transport our bikes on our tow vehicle once we've set up camp. Truth be told, we're not the biggest fans of the typical Dometic fridges that are 3-way. They seem to be finicky. Maybe we've just had bad luck. It's not a knock on A-liner. It's just something that's been around, our experience of renting trailers and using trailers for many years. This is a weatherproof 12-volt refrigerator. What we like about this, of course, is that it just runs off battery. We don't have to worry about using propane. It's very efficient.
That was a game changer, I will say, because while we're traveling, the fridge does not work inside the trailer, and we learned that the hard way. Everything got warm in there. And then we had a whole separate bin just for cold items with ice. The ice melted. So we actually use that inside Dometic refrigerator just for bread and kind of perishable items that don't necessarily need to be refrigerated. And then here I'll buy maybe some frozen meats that I'll eat for dinner. We'll make something on the 4th day, but by that time I can kind of have it defrost in the meantime. So that changed everything for our family. We go in and out, and that locks as well. There's a lock and there's a code on there.
And then at camp, how are you dealing with the height of it? What's the trick?
We have a little stool, which we don't have here because the way our driveway is slanted, but this does get pretty high, I would say up to here. Like I can't see inside there. So I just use a stool and it's not a problem. I go in and out, and this is great because when this little basket comes out, so I can go in the house, put what I need in there, And then I'll just take the whole thing instead of, bringing a bunch of bags or items and just pop it in there like that.
Yep.
It doesn't seem like a big deal, but for me as the mom and for the family, I think it's important with this fridge. It really helped a lot with it. So I love it.
We have, again, another water tank on this end over here. One of our solutions to kind of simplify things and help on our setup is we just tilt it back, hold it back with a rubber bungee, and we can add, fill our water bottles and so forth relatively easily. And you're using basically the container it came with to transport it. The trailer does have a luggage door in the front and in the back. Something to note, if you do get an A-liner, they are on the smaller side, these luggage doors that you can see. However, we still fit quite a bit in here. The newer ones are starting to get a little bit bigger. If ever we were so inclined, we would enlarge this a little bit to help with it, but just something to note. The other thing, pretty much standard stuff for the most part. You do have kind of an exterior light. You do have some exterior plugs here. We did add a RV lock in here just to help us holding a lot of keys. That is not stock. One thing you will note over here is that you'll see this table here. The bracket on the trailer is in fact a bracket. The way it works with A-liner is that it comes with a portable stove that you can either hook up on the exterior, that's hooked up to a propane line down over here. And the beauty about it is that stove can be brought inside. There's also a hookup on the interior. Our solution was to actually just use this as a table. We've heard, we can't speak to it on first-hand experience, but we've heard enough horror stories that the heat on here is not good for the exterior finish. For our solution, we've opted to use a third-party grill. We've gone through different types of stoves. This one in particular just has removable legs. And so it packs up relatively compact. It fits in the trailer. One thing to note, anything that you see out here, it all fits inside or on our trailer. We keep we don't rely on our vehicle to carry anything. The factory off-road extreme package does come with a lift. However, it's worth noting that we did have some issues with it. Over here, you can kind of see there's some damage over here. We did have some clearance issues with the tire actually hitting the inner fender. So what we did opt for is adding a very small additional spacer lift on it. So that gave us a little more clearance and a higher level of comfort for us whenever we're going on off roads that are a little bumpier.
All right, let's go inside the trailer. It's really roomy inside, surprisingly. I was a little worried it was going to get small for us, but it's plenty of room. It's a queen size bed. We're getting older. We like to be comfortable, so we ended up buying an actual mattress. We took out the foam ones that came with the trailer, and we added a mattress in here from IKEA, and that just stays in there permanently. Our backs and everything, we just wanted to be comfortable. For the kids' side of the bed as well, it's just an IKEA, and it worked fine a couple years ago when we had this trailer. The kids were a lot younger. Now they're bigger. They're almost 10 and 8, so it's getting a little tight for them in here. So the downside with this is great for 3 people, I would say. But there's 2 adults, 2 kids, and we don't fit like we used to. So we ended up modifying this, and we don't have it in here now, but we did buy an IKEA bunk bed, a wooden one, that we build and put together when we're on longer camping trips. It does take us about, I don't know, maybe 20, 30 minutes to set that up. And we did have to customize it. We shortened it just to fit in here. But that made it so much more comfortable for the kids. One's on the bottom, one's on the top. Plus, it's fun for them. They have the little ladder in here. Unfortunately, that cannot stay here because this does fold down. So we have to take it all apart afterwards.
So I'm 5'11", and as you can see, I can't even touch the peak of this trailer. So there is so much headroom here, which is something that we just absolutely love here. We know when you have a family of 4 with all your gear, it can feel claustrophobic. This trailer, for its size, is amazing in that regards. Also, one thing that really we loved about this trailer was the windows. A trailer of this size with literally windows on every side of the trailer is absolutely amazing. We go out camping to experience the outside. We want to be able to see and experience that. So to that end, though, sometimes it does make it more difficult to, or less efficient when it comes to heating in cold weather, of course, because you don't have the same R value with a window than you would the actual wall. But it's something, a compromise that we are willing to take. In this area here, the stock Aliner Classic does come with a bench that folds out to a bed. We personally have chosen to remove those mats and just add a mattress that just stays in this configuration full time. It's the best comfort for us, and we don't really need, but when we go camping, we want to be outside, not inside. This is just for sleeping. So that is how this configuration works. On this side, this is actually a dinette. It's not shown here right now, but it's you have 2 benches on either side with a table here that's removable. Again, we have chosen to use this as a sleeping area for our kids, and have left in this configuration, as well as we do build a bunk bed for longer trips as well. That's the beauty of having these hard-sided dormers. You can notice that the dormer in the front is very tall. I mean, even at this, the height of this is over 6 feet over here. So this gives you a lot of vertical clearance, whether you're sitting here or if you ever so choose to build a bunk bed on this area. So this area here has been modified. So if a stock A-Liner Classic, this would come out to about here, and there's actually a microwave and a little bit of storage. What we chose to do here is to modify this. And the way we modified this is we took the original cabinetry, made a couple modifications, and then we've actually installed a dry flush toilet. It's battery operated, so it can be charged for your trip, and it can be used throughout the trip without needing any plugins. And it's fully contained, so there's no black water tank. It actually vacuum seals it.
It's like an adult diaper genie.
Well, that's exactly what it is, and we're happy to demonstrate that.
I was pleasantly surprised. I was a little nervous at first, and
Yes.
granted, we got this right as the pandemic was starting, so this was perfect. And I know we're a little crazy because when we go snowboarding too, we physically taken this out and taken it to our
Yes.
car to the mountains because we didn't want to use the public restrooms.
Yep.
But no, this has been great, and we have a fan up here, so it actually clears out. I work in a hospital. I have hospital grade room spray. It works wonders, everybody, if you want to Google it. So storage, we just have this little nook, and this is honestly just random little things that we put in there. Quick things, like if we have our keys, we kind of stick them in there. So there's a light in there, so if we need to see anything at night. Again, this is just the bottom that I have. I have these 2 plastic bins and then a middle space in there just for our bags or towels or additional items right there. We have this hammock over here, and we just put little odds and ends, like our shower wipes over here, towels, paper towels, anything else that we can fit. Walter built this little shelf over here, so we just put like our toiletries on top of here. With that being said, since this camper does fold down to this belt line right here, whatever we put in here, like this needs to go down. We find it underneath. Everything has to be down here when we're traveling. So there's not too much space that we have. And underneath the other bed.
Some storage in there too, right? A little bit?
A little bit in here.
Garbage.
So we have our garbage can in here, and just a broom, just some cleaning supplies, some sprays, our lovely toilet paper. This doubles as a holder if we want to put a phone on here or place anything.
Yes, so these range from, what was yours, your weight, like near 1,600 pounds?
Yeah, so the gross vehicle weight rating of this trailer, which is an A-Liner Classic, is 3,000 pounds. The dry weight is under 2,000 pounds, thereabouts. So you can carry up close to 1,000 pounds of cargo on this trailer. I think the misnomer is that everyone wants the one camper that does it all. And our approach to this has always been is that, we did rent out trailers for a couple years to kind of better understand what works or doesn't work. But for us, we wanted a trailer where it's okay to feel a little intimate, feel a little bit tight, because that kept us going outside. And that's why we're out camping here. We're camping because we want to go and experience the outside.
Well, you're never gonna have like the perfect trailer.
Correct.
or camper.
Yeah.
And you have to compromise on a few things. And it is okay, like Walter was saying, to feel uncomfortable because, that's what camping is. We don't have all the luxuries of home, right? And we grew up doing that and we wanted to expose our kids to that too. And it brings you together and you just kind of have to learn to be a little bit more adaptable and just make the best of it. So, but for us, it works for now.
Because if you make this perfect, then something else isn't perfect. It impacts your tow vehicle.
Correct.
It impacts,
We can talk firsthand. Trailers that we've rented that are larger, we spent way too much time inside of them. We know firsthand. We've went through this. Yep.
If we go on a week-long trip or a quick weekend trip, then that wouldn't work for us necessarily.
Yep.
So what are 3 pros you can think of with this camper?
I think one of the pros is just its uniqueness. We get asked a lot about it, and it's that cool factor that we enjoy, and that's certainly a pro. Not because of we want to show off our trailer, and of course we're proud of it, but it actually gives us opportunities to meet and talk to people.
Also, I think another pro is the size of it. It is small, and we never have to think twice of where we're going to stay or do extra research in terms of how we're going to get there or, which campsite or which campground or which area we're going to stay in. We know that it's capable to go anywhere we want to take it. Another pro, I think all our modifications we've made, I know it's not stock with the trailer, but just using it over time, over the years, we've realized what we like, what we don't like. And then just the refrigerator modification was extremely helpful in terms of storage space. Bringing our own water was really helpful. I like the additional hookups too. So I guess it's all the little extra added little pieces and those little things that have helped us to make it more comfortable and usable. So that's another big pro for us.
The low profile, I think, is a pro, right? That fact that it folds down.
Yes, with towing it in particular.
Yeah. So the reality is not all of us have grown up towing or really comfortable with towing, and this makes it a little bit more manageable and easier to tow. With the lift kit, you don't see over it as well, but some of the Aliner trailers you would see perfectly behind you, which is nice. We've been told that has better mileage than a teardrop. Even because it's actually even lower than that. The side sway from winds, you're not as affected as much. So I think in the end of the day, it just makes it more attainable to the average person to go trailer, because I think that's a really big pro for those that are considering a trailer. Lightweight, foldable, low profile.
Okay, so a couple cons. There's always going to be some cons. Going back to the size, because we do love that it is small, it can be a con on the other flip side of that. Especially when it comes to storage. There's not a lot of storage because of the size too and the modifications. There's a lot of setting up before and then cleaning up after. You have to kind of put everything back in its place and kind of use every little space. So I guess it's kind of a good thing. You have to kind of think twice about what you're bringing. Another one for my side is with the folding. If you are going to go on a longer trip, it is a little bit more challenging for pit stops. If you just want to stay the night really quick one night, you've been driving all day for hours and hours, you're exhausted, it's getting dark. You can't just stop and walk in your trailer. You have to, set it up. You have to open it up, even though it takes a minute or two. But most likely you're going to have things on the ground and you're going to have to move all of that. And then in the morning, instead of just hooking up, leaving really quick, you have to organize it all back together.
The recurring theme for us is that a lot of the pros are actually the cons as well. So as much as we love the folding part, and Nicole mentioned the folding does add more to the setting up and take down. The fact that it's small is good. It's manageable. You can find, you're not restricted to where you're camping, but it does, it makes it more challenging to sleep 4 people.
I've heard about if your camper isn't level, it's hard to get the origami to come perfectly together. Is that true? Have you ran into this on like uneven terrain?
Well, typically when we set up our trailer, we actually do level it. We get it level, so we do have a system. The frame, in our experience, is rigid enough that it holds its shape for the most part. That has not been an issue.
So I think maybe it's what you were referring to. These people are torquing it a little on super unlevel ground, maybe when they're bringing a wheel way up. and now the whole thing has got a little bit of stress on it or something.
Correct. And a lot of
Yeah.
people too, they use stabilizers to level their trailers when you have to understand how your trailer's designed. Most trailers, stabilizers are just that. They have one job, to stabilize the trailer, not to level it.
And let's debunk this myth. Setting up, taking down in the wind. Some people say you can't do it with an A-liner.
We've camped on this for many, many years in some pretty inclemental weather, high wind weather in the desert.
Yes.
We can say, based on our experience, that has not been an issue. The A-liner is built with these high wind bars that help you kind of hold it, taking up and taking down. They also bolt together to kind of keep all the panels
structure together, yeah.
which is a key point. So from our experience, it has not been the case.
Yeah,
And,
we haven't had an issue. We camped once, I mentioned to you before, where it was so windy all night and I was so nervous that the whole thing's gonna come apart.
Yep.
Surprisingly, all in one piece. In the morning, we were fine. So that really was a good test for the wind.
Did you sleep?
No, I did not sleep at all. I really tried, but I thought it was gonna be Wizard of Oz where we were just gonna fly off and land in another land, but we were fine. I did not sleep that night, but we were all in one piece.
Any other closing thoughts?
It's brought a lot of joy to us. I mean, we've experienced so many beautiful places, and we love getting out there. And we encourage everyone to not be afraid. You know, this is a great starter trailer, I think, because it's manageable, it's small, it's lightweight. As you've seen, taking it down is not difficult. I mean, Nicole did it. These are not heavy walls. She was not struggling to get these up and down. You can do this on your own. It's a
And
great
I've even
trailer.
driven with it before on straight roads on the highway, not off the road, but I did do it, let this guy sleep a little bit in the car. But for us, it works and we're happy with it. Will we have it forever? I'm not sure, but right now, we're not planning to get rid of it anytime soon. And that's why we try and take care of it as best we can and keep it for a couple more years at least.
Who knows? I mean, maybe it'll be handed down to our kids. I mean, it's one of those trailers that is so unique that it'd be hard to let go of it anytime soon.
Yeah,
I
we got a
think.
little attached to our Abbey.
Yeah.
Thank you guys. I appreciate it.
Awesome.
Thank you.